Hello everyone, I'm Kalen North, and welcome back to Terra Invicta. Today we're starting up part 6 of our Protectorate campaign. We're going to be trying to do a few different things. We just lost Singapore at the end of last session to the Brits, and we're going to try and take that back probably to get our spoils country back. We could just go into another country and run spoils there, but I do like holding on to Singapore. It's got enough stability built into it at the beginning of the game that it can just run for much longer than most countries. Fortunately for us, the resistance does seem to have left Singapore in crackdown, so they abandoned their control points, which means it's going to be pretty easy for us to purge those and take them back. And then the other thing we want to do is focus on Europe. Last time I was saying we were going to start unifying. I think I'm actually going to hold off a little bit longer on unifying Europe. I kind of want to build up some more mission control in some of these countries before we get them all into one mega nation. And so we're going to see if we can get away with keeping on going with the dance that we're doing, where we don't let countries leave the EU as much as possible. Alpine States is going to be one of our targets in the near future as a result, because Project Exodus finally took executive control there. Czech Republic is still fine. We can leave it be. They don't have the executive there. And then, other than that, I think that most of Europe... Sweden and Finland also need to potentially be taken out because they've got executive control and consolidated executive control in Finland already. So I don't know why they haven't left the European Union yet. They might just be too short on influence. We could actually go check that, take a quick look at servants. Yeah, they're pretty short on influence. They'll probably leave in the near future, but they haven't made it a priority yet because they're doing other things. But we will probably try and do what we can to clear out some of those Scandinavian countries, try and clear out the Alpine states. Italy's already left the European Union, and so there's not much we can do about that one. Plus, it's heavily fortified at this point. 3 different factions, all of whom have put up defenses on their control points with the Defend Interests mission. So we're going to go ahead and keep on doing what we've been doing to some extent. So we're going to start with, I'm going to have Madeline come in and work on taking Singapore back. I think Singapore is my top priority right now. There could be an argument made for Scandinavia just in case the servants are likely to leave the European Union in the near future. But I just really want to get Singapore back.
The opposition.
So 90% odds, plenty good. We'll do that. With Yoyi, I want to probably either run Investigate Counselor. If there's an enemy counselor we can take a look at. There is actually a Servants Counselor we've got a little information on. Niv Ibrahimi. Let's take a look here. Ibrahimi, excuse me. An Evangelist. Yeah, it could be interesting. Aggroing the servants might not be the greatest idea, but we could do it anyway, take a look at them. Otherwise, we could try and run Crackdown on, for example, the servant control point in Ireland, or the control point of the initiative over here in Portugal. Right now, however, the one in Portugal isn't really a big threat because they are running mission control, which is what we want to do anyway. And Ireland, they haven't updated, it looks like, from the default, so we'll see if that changes. I think I'm going to let them have a turn to try that out, and I'm going to see if I can do an investigate mission on Niv here. So we'll run that. They are getting a benefit from local control points, which is hurting our success odds. I don't really want to throw any ops at this. I suppose we could throw like 1 in. But my bigger hope is that they're going to leave India, which is I think where they are. Yeah, they're in New Delhi. Leave India and lose that bonus from local control points. So we'll run the investigation. We'll put in 1 op. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what they're up to.
Eric, I really want probably to run public support wherever I'm going to be doing a purge with Urantika.
Standing by for orders.
And I think I'm going to do that in Finland, try and start taking that one back to preserve it. We've actually got pretty good odds. 74% is pretty good. So we'll go ahead and pump in 2 influence, get it up above 80.
Removing our enemies.
And I'm going to have Eric go ahead and run public support, or public campaign, to get some more support in Finland. And we'll see how that goes. Finally, we got Anjor. Last time I said Anjor to do set policy in France so that we could start unifying, but as discussed, I'm going to put that off for a little bit longer, and so I'll have him go and run a public campaign in probably in Sweden, just to see if we can get that one as well in the near future. I think we've got good enough odds going on in Finland right now, so we'll go for Sweden here. I'm going to put a little bit of money into it, get him above 80%.
I will tell of a
Money
story.
is really not very tight right now. And with that, let's confirm assignments and start moving time. Yeah.
We cannot just send up a bunch of
Right,
diggers.
space mining and
over
refining
vents.
is
Even
complete.
dirt doesn't behave the same way up there. One might as well build a house upon a pile of rice. Director Khalid Alashkar, from his irregular newsletter, preparing for tomorrow.
All right, so we are getting space mining and refining. So now we need to decide on what direction we want to take things. I really want to try and get some research, some technologies that increase my CP cap. And so I'm going to be looking for... we could also do Mission to the Moon at this point. I kind of want to wait on that until we've got more boost built up. But I think that what I want to do here is I want to go for Arrival Domestic Politics. Arrival Domestic Politics will help lead us to both great nations and independence movements, which I really like. Independence movements has a nice technology that it unlocks that gives you a boost to your CP cap. I believe we also have to do Arrival International Relations possibly for that one, or no? Arrival Sociology, excuse me. So we'll start with Arrival Domestic Politics and go for the other one later on. Meanwhile, we've got nuclear fission in space going already. That's good for us. Orbital shipbuilding, we don't really care about this early, but it's fine to have it. It'll be good probably to get it done. I do want to try and take control of this point still, so I'm going to put another pip in it just to see if that's enough to get us in the lead. It's going to slow down reusable rockets slightly, but that should be okay. If we get very far ahead, I can switch it down to 1 pip, and we'll see what happens. All right, so we've got more aliens arriving in low Earth orbit. They're probably going to crash land. Yep. So we've got a crash in Kazan in Russia, and a crash in Minneapolis in the United States. So...
Mission cancelled.
Oh, Investigate Counselor mission was canceled. So the counselor
ready for
probably
new
went to
orders.
ground? Or... Oh no, India's in guerrilla war. So Yoi's paranoid trait canceled the mission. That's unfortunate. I didn't realize India was that high. Okay, well, that's fine. We will continue on. Wasted a mission, but that's okay.
The people will come to our side.
We got a little more public support in Finland, which is good. We're on par with the servants now. We've got 22% to their 26%.
We have moved the needle.
And we gained a little bit more in Sweden, so that's nice. And then finally, we'll see how the purge missions go. Hoping Singapore succeeds here in just a moment, hopefully.
We are in control now.
Yes, it did. So we've got a point in Singapore. We'll switch it back to kleptocratic, do the spoils strategy, and then hopefully take the executive back next turn.
Our people have taken control.
All right. So, and we've got one in Finland as well. We are a little over cap now, but that's fine. We can hold on to that. I do want to switch everything over to mission control for now. You know, maybe that's why the servants haven't left yet, is because they get the mission control priority by staying in the EU without having to finish their spaceflight program. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about the AI. And we lost mass media in Poland, so that's fine for now. We'll try and take that back later, potentially, but we can also just let Poland sit for a while. We're not going to unify it anytime really soon, because they've only got 3 mission control of a possible 8. But if we do lose another point in Poland, we might go back in there if the AI doesn't try to run mission control. In Hungary, we lost a point to Humanity First. Similarly, that's fine for now. We weren't going to be able to unify Hungary right away anyway. And that looks like that's it for now. All right, we've got some alliances ending. None of those are all that important right now, but they could be useful to look at later. And we've got some new orgs available. So let's take a look and see if there's anything worth grabbing. We can't grab this one, it's from Japan. Can't grab this one, it's from Turkey. We could grab the JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, from the United States, but right now I don't think that's that useful. The plus 3% to mission control and boost is kind of nice, but as is the plus 15% to space science research. But the cost of 45 a month isn't really appealing. Plus, we can't actually. Can we actually afford it right now? We can actually afford it. So we could take the JPL if we really wanted to and get that second engineering project, which might be useful. It would mean losing about a fifth of our income, but that's all right because we got a bunch more coming from spoils potentially. DARPA, I don't think we want. Too expensive. Boosts military. Not that interesting. Grom, let's see, it's in the Warsaw region. That's kind of neat. We don't really need it right now. It doesn't have any good missions for us, and the command and security boost isn't amazing. We're also doing all right on ops income. We're up to 14.6 a month. So the one ops income per month isn't as big a deal as it would have been earlier. Saka forces in Egypt, not very useful. Similar to Grom, but slightly worse, in fact, in some ways. It's 1 star instead of 2 stars, so that's fair. I really want to take JPL, I think, actually. Get that science bonus, get that extra project, and get a little bit more boost and mission control. So we're gonna go for this one. I'm gonna equip it to Eric probably. Just take a quick glance at other counselors, see if I don't think anyone can even take it except Eric. He's the only one who's got capacity. But we'll go ahead and buy the JPL. It's going to cost us 150 influence, which is a lot, but it should be worth it for now, I think. So we'll do that. And then now we get this 15% bonus to tech, as well as getting this second project here. Now, we get a second project, and as I mentioned before in a previous video, we get a bonus based on how spread out we are. So actually having something in here and working at a single pip is going to give us a bonus to all of our science overall. It's not going to be enough to make up for the fact that it's taking some science away, but it's still worthwhile in terms of just being able to generate more science in total. So I'm going to pick something small here, probably Outpost Core. We want to finish that one up pretty soon here. We could do like Alien Flora or something like that, but I think Outpost Core is going to be the most useful, other than Space Tugs. And Space Tugs we don't need quite as urgently. Outpost Core we need to get to found outposts, and also to get Outpost Mining Complex shortly thereafter. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to put a single pip into it. And that'll bring our total science now. We get 4.4 from that distribution bonus, which is really nice. So, yeah, we'll do that. And was anyone able to level up? Yes, Urantika can actually. So we'll give her another point in administration. So that's not going to enable her to get any more orgs right now. Actually, we just can't afford any more orgs right now. But that does get us up to 201 for our CP cap, which is nice. Madeline, it looks like, doesn't have anything we can do yet. Anjor has Quick Learner, but he's still a little ways away. We need 16 experience to level him up. And then Yoyi, we want to get rid of Paranoid again, so we're going to get that up to 40 before we do anything else. In the meantime, no one else can level up, so we'll go ahead and assign missions. I did want to take back the other control point in Singapore, so I'm going to start with Madeline.
Ready.
We'll have her run a purge on the executive in Singapore. She's got pretty good odds at 94%.
Ready.
Anjor, I want to have him probably go and investigate one of those alien crash sites. We'll have him go to Kazan.
On the way to the target site.
And
At your
Yoyi,
service.
Yoyi cannot investigate a crash site.
What's the
Urantika
op?
can, and Eric
I'm
can.
here.
We want Urantika to run a
Standing
purge
by.
though this turn, so we're gonna have
Standing by
Eric
for
go for
orders.
the other crash site in Minneapolis.
Headed there now.
And
Where to?
then Urantika, we want to run a purge. I want to take the executive in Finland if I can.
Targeting the opposition.
And I did reset priorities there, so that's good. And then finally, Yoi. Do we have any counselors we can investigate? We could try and investigate Neve, but that's probably not great because he's in New Delhi. We could go and investigate this Exodus counselor in Russia. That's not a crazy idea. They have a pretty high espionage score, unfortunately. But we could let's take a look at the intel panel and see what we know about them. So they're a kingpin, so we want to try and find someone who has organizations that we can take over with Hostile Takeover. So I'm going to have Yoi try this one. Russia is peaceful, so her paranoid trait shouldn't get in the way. So we'll go ahead and investigate Neve. Or not Neve. Suhaila. And see what we can get with that. Maybe they're related. They have the same last name. Probably not. We're going to go ahead and put an op into that. Maybe 2 ops even? Yeah, we'll go for 2 ops. Get it above 80%. See what happens. And then from there, we'll confirm assignments and move time forward. It looks like we are in the lead on arrival domestic politics, but we're not in the lead by that much, so I do want to keep that second pip in there.
I have new information.
All right, we succeeded on the mission. She did move over to Vietnam, which fortunately is also peaceful. And she does have some orgs. She also only has an administration score of 6, which is really nice. We might actually be able to steal 1 or more of these. That Cepheus Consultants is probably the most interesting one, giving the plus persuasion bonus, as well as some influence income. Solosia? I'm not sure. Solutions is not so interesting, just security and protect target. And then Gara Industries, get a little bit of monthly income, could be useful to grab. At the very least, we can just start sniping orgs and selling them for money. So, we'll see what happens. Once we get a chance to do that.
Were a blur of doctors and treatments. By that point, every movement was painful. The one thing she loved was her aquatic therapy. Whenever I was home on leave, I'd take her to the pool for hours. Weightless, smiling, free.
Orbital
Commander
shipbuilding.
Fiona Ayawade, during a psychological evaluation.
All right, so this is a useful one to have. It looks like there's researching terrestrial military science next, which isn't the most important for us. It'll increase max miltech level. So we haven't talked too much about how combat works, but every nation has a military tech level. And right now, those military tech levels are capped at 5. Various technologies will increase that cap by 0.5 point. Which is good because the aliens are going to have a way higher miltech level than anything we've got. Spoilers. But right now, that's going to be useful potentially, and then there's going to be a bunch of other potential projects that this could unlock. I don't think we're worried about most of these right now because we don't want to worry too much about military strength on the ground at the moment. But this isn't the worst thing to have. We're going to still focus on our slot to try and keep control of that and do other projects that are more useful for us. So, we'll continue time. And let's see here. We should get some investigations here done in a moment.
Here's what we found.
All right, so we did an investigation of the UFO in Minneapolis. There's not really anything to see there. Anything new to see anyway. And same in Russia. So we get a bonus to our xenology research at least, and we can use that later on because we're going to be doing plenty of xenology technologies later on.
We're in control here.
All right, and we have Singapore back. That war can't keep us down. We're gonna keep spoiling the nation, getting lots of income. We are now up to 211 out of 201, and so I'm tempted to try and go find a nation to abandon. Just take a quick look at what we've got right now. We'll sort by science, because we want to keep high science nations if we can. Looks like, well, no, Kazakhstan we don't want to lose. Finland we could take out 1 point. That wouldn't be the end of the world, especially if we get the executive. We might let that one go shortly here. Bulgaria we could actually go ahead and let go of for the time being. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let go of Bulgaria for the time being, because we've got it set to what we want, and it's right now eating up about 10 cap, or 11 cap, which is right about what we need in order to get back to neutral. So I'm going to abandon the nation, get down to 200 out of 201.
We are in control now.
And looks like we have taken
We'll be ready
Finland.
for new orders soon.
And so we're a little above cap again. We can set everything to mission control, and then we can either leave this one be. It's actually got decent science, so I kind of want to leave that one be and just stay a little bit over cap for now. Yeah, it should be fine. I say, and then
In
see if we lose
1954,
something.
the Americans built the first nuclear-powered submarine and changed the course of naval warfare. Now, it is upon us to become the creators of the first nuclear-powered spaceship. It is upon us to define warfare in space. Commander Fiona Ayawade comments to media at Churchill Shipyards.
All right. Nuclear fission in space is great. We want fission piles for Mars. I'm gonna hop in here. Okay, we got a new project unlocked, lithium sulfur batteries. I'm not worried about that yet. That's a ship component. That's gonna be for later on. Solid core fission systems gets nuclear freighters is potentially really useful for us. We're not too interested in all of the different torpedoes just yet. Nuclear freighters is the most interesting thing in there. I'm tempted to try and put a couple of pips or another pip into this one to see if we can compete with Project Exodus on it. Mainly because it would be nice to take control of a couple of different slots if we can. That is going to slow down our other projects a little bit, but we should be okay to do so. So I'm going to put 2 pips in for now, see if that... Well, I'm actually going to put 3 pips in because we're a little less than half of Project Exodus without it. So we'll see if that's enough to take the lead, and if it is, we can turn it down a little bit. If it's not, then we'll rebalance as necessary. All right, so Italy has ended some alliances. Canada, Turkey, yeah, more alliances collapsing as the shadow organizations take over. So no science ticks occurred there, so we'll have to wait on that a little bit longer. But now, let's see, we've got Singapore back. It's under control. I want to have Madeline. I'm starting out each of these mission phases with Madeline because I think where I decide to run a purge is usually going to be the most influential thing on what we're doing for the mission. I'm tempted to go take Sweden. They are all running mission control, which is kind of nice already. And it looks like in Ireland, same kind of thing where they're running mostly mission control. What are they running in Sweden? Knowledge. That's fine. So I think that probably this is where I'm interested in going to the Alpine states. Oh, definitely the Alpine states, because they've got a wide spread here. We're only putting 43% of their investment points to mission control, and we want more than that if we can. Additionally, they don't have any protection on their control points, and they're building towards consolidated executive control. So I want to stop that in order to stop them from leaving the EU. The other place to check, of course, is the Czech Republic. They still haven't taken the executive there for some reason. I don't know why, but that's fine. So we'll go ahead with Madeline, run a purge here. It looks like we don't have great odds on the mass media one, but if we take the legislature, that's the one we want anyway, and it looks like Humanity First has already got it in Crackdown. So we'll go ahead and try to purge that one. I don't think we need to spend any influence. She's already got 90% odds.
Where do you need me?
And then Anjor, I'm going to have him go and run public support in the Alpine states, just to try and help keep odds higher, keep the point better defended once we gain control of it, if we gain control of it. And then Yogi. Let's see. We did successfully.
At your service.
I want to double check missions.
At your service.
Madeline actually does also have hostile takeover, but I don't think her administration score is not nearly as good as Eric's, and he's got hostile takeover as well. So we want to try and run a hostile takeover this turn. So we're going to try and steal an org here from Project Exodus. I am going to pump a little bit of money into this because, again, money is relatively plentiful, and it gets our odds above 80%, which is really nice.
Targeting enemy orgs.
Ready to go.
And then with Antica, we could run another investigate mission on the Project Exodus counselor we've been looking at, or we could go after an initiative counselor or a academy counselor. We've got a few options. The nice thing about running it on the Project Exodus counselor is if we get enough intel on them, we learn their loyalty score, and we can try and convert them to our cause. Eric has the turn counselor mission. Oh, whoops. Close out of that. Eric has the turn counselor mission and a decent persuasion score. There's a chance we could be able to get a spy in their ranks, which would let us see all of their organizations and all of their counselors, which would be really helpful. So I think we're gonna have Antica go ahead and try to run another investigation mission here, just so that we can get as much intel on this counselor as possible.
Eyes on target.
Just to double check.
What's the op?
We have, okay, so right now we know, I think, everything except her loyalty score, which her loyalty score says 2, but that's because she has the, I don't actually know why it says her score is 2. She's got suspicious, which makes her apparent loyalty look lower, but she probably has a decent loyalty score. We'll see what it is. I was thinking there's a trait that some counselors have that sets their apparent loyalty to 2 at all times, regardless of what it actually is. But that's something else. So we've got Yogi now. We can run a crackdown somewhere, or we could investigate another counselor to see about getting more orgs from someone else. I think I'm going to have her go for this initiative counselor here, Glenn Robertson, just because she's got pretty good odds of hitting him still. And let's see, he's an executive, so there's a decent chance that he has some orgs that we might want to steal. Plus, getting a agent in the initiative would, as we said before, get us access to all of their counselors and all of their orgs. So we'll see how she does with that.
Investigating target.
All right, and then I'm going to confirm assignments and let time run. We do have, let's see, okay, so we still don't know how Solid Core Fission Systems is going to go, but we'll see in a moment. 16 to 20, 23 to 27. Interplanetary warships. That lets us start building spaceships. We don't really want to do that right away, but that is going to be useful, of course, later on. 29 to 33. It looks like we're having trouble keeping up on Solid Core Fission Systems with Project Exodus.
We've got some intel on our target. Wrapping up here.
All right, so we've got some information on Saili. She's running a purge mission here in Vietnam, and maybe we need one more level of investigation to actually see her loyalty score. I should have targeted her twice, perhaps. Oh well.
Surveillance complete.
All right, Glenn Robertson with the initiative does in fact have some orgs. He has a very high administration score of 17 though, so we might want to try and steal some orgs from him, but if we do that, it's going to be probably to take things like Laguna Foundation, which give a bonus to administration in order to make him a softer target for the future. The other thing we could do is we could try, he has a low security score, so we could try and put him into detention. There's a detain counselor mission, and then hammer him with the hostile takeover mission from there. And then meanwhile, I want to glance back at tech. We're keeping up with Project Exodus, but we're not surpassing them, so I'm just going to give up on that one for now and let everything else go. We don't want to lose our advantage on rival domestic politics, and I want to speed up these other 2 projects a little bit.
Org acquired.
All right, and we successfully stole an org from I can't remember which organization this was. Project Exodus. So we could take Cobalt Applications, which gives us an extra project, which we don't really need. I think the one I was most excited about was Cepheus Consultants. So I'm going to take that and get the extra persuasion score. And then now we have on Eric.
Prepping for next mission.
That should have equipped. Oh, it won't kick in until next mission phase. That's fine. But that'll get his persuasion up to 11, which will be nice.
Public sentiment is increasingly with us.
All right, we got some more public support in the Alpine states. And we'll see if that purge succeeds.
We've removed some threats.
All right, we got it. So, Alpine states we've taken. I am going to change this entirely to mission control. And then I'm actually going to abandon this control point immediately. We're going to try and target the executive next turn, but maybe I don't want to abandon this control point. Let's check our other nations and see what we've got. So, sorting by science as usual. What do we not have on Crackdown already? Finland is probably our best bet, actually, because we've got full control there, and we can let them sit for a while, just working on mission control. So we'll abandon Finland, and that'll get us down to 204 out of 201, which is fine. All right, in Romania, we lost a control point to the resistance. We'll see what they update the specs to, or the priorities to, but for now, that's not the end of the world. We still have executive control, and they're not going to be leaving the EU anytime soon. Oh. The resistance failed a purge mission targeting Bulgaria. It's impressive. And we're already getting advice that... Oh, and Czech Republic, it looks like Project Exodus finally took the executive point, so we'll want to break into there at some point in the near future. All right, so we've got a couple more alliances ending here. We can conduct hostile takeover on an initiative counselor. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So I want to take a look at the new orgs. We've got the Viking Trust. That's not too interesting. It's a little boost to welfare. Life Regiment Hussars. Kind of interesting, but not the most. Let's see. This one we would need to be in Italy for, so we can't really take it. And then Grom we saw earlier. We could take that one, but I don't think it's that good. And DARPA is, I think, overpriced for what it is, at least at this point in the game. Looks like we can level up Madeline again. So I'm going to go ahead and give her a boost to administration to help our CP cap a little bit. And let's see, Anjor has quick learner, so he can get his administration boosted. Yoyi, we want to save up to get rid of that paranoid trait. And everyone else is too low. So we could take Grom at this point, but I don't think I want to. It doesn't give us enough. It doesn't really give us any additional useful missions, and the ops income is just not worth it. So we'll save that for later. And now, let's see. I wanted Madeline to go and try and run a purge on the executive point in the Alpine states. Looks like that's not super trivial. So we probably want to try and run a crackdown on that first. So I'm going to actually step aside for a moment and decide what to do with Eric. We don't have the ability to turn a counselor yet, but we could run another hostile takeover mission. Glenn Robertson, we have terrible odds of hitting, which is unfortunate. We'll have to get some more intel on him before we can do that. And then Suhaila, we could do another one, but I don't think any of her other orgs were all that interesting. So we're not going to go for that right now. Instead, I'm going to try and investigate Glenn Robertson more. But first, I want to run a crackdown on the executive if I can. We don't have great odds at the crackdown. I'll pump in a couple of influence to get it to 75. Might be worth running some more popular support, public campaigns to get more popular support there as well. Madeline, I'm going to have try to run the purge on the executive. I'll spend a couple influence in case the crackdown fails.
Removing our enemies.
Ready for our
Anjor
mission.
will run public campaign there. I'm not going to put any money into it right now,
We must
but
persuade
it'll
the
be
people.
fine.
Standing
And then Yoyi, I want to go and investigate Glenn Robertson to try and get a little more intel on him to make those hostile takeover missions more feasible. So
Tracking
we'll run
target.
that. And then Eric, I want to. We could just run hostile takeover on Suhaila. It wouldn't be the end of the world to just try and steal another one of her orgs. They did have that extra project, so once you have unlocked the extra project, anything else that would give you an extra project gives you a bonus of 5% per engineering symbol, which is really nice in some ways, but also a little underwhelming. But it is plus 5% to science, so that's probably worth it. So I'll have him run the hostile takeover on Suhaila. I'm not going to put any money into it again. Just leave it at
Targeting
80%.
their assets.
And with that, we'll proceed through the turn. We should have some technologies unlocking here momentarily. And I'm curious how... saltwater batteries, again, useful eventually, but not so much right away. Benelux is up to 6 out of 8 mission control. So we're getting a lot closer to where we want to unify them into the EU.
We've got some intel on
France
our
is
target.
at... How much is France at? 7 out of a possible 14. So France is going to be... France is going to turn into the EU. So we've got a lot of room to grow there, and that'll be fine. So we got more intel on
Prepping for next
Robertson.
mission.
Again, the more intel we get, the better our chance of succeeding at hostile takeover is.
Mission canceled.
All right, Eric aborted his mission, so the counselor probably went to ground. We probably lost track of her, which, yeah, it looks like we did. We've lost track of everyone except for Glenn, which is fine for now. It's a wasted mission, but it's not the end of the
People
world.
will come to our side.
All right, so we've got a little more public support here now in the Alpine States. We've actually got more public support than Project Exodus, which is good. And we've completed reusable rockets. All right, so we get another boost to boost. That'll be really handy later on. Or not later on, immediately that'll be handy. And then I'm going to switch to space tugs, which we'd said we'd wanted earlier. Gives us a nice little boost to speed for hab modules, so our colonies that we form immediately are going to be settled a little bit faster. Otherwise, let's see, we're still in the lead on arrival domestic politics, and we're actually getting further in the lead, I think. So we might be able to turn that down to 1 pip somewhat soon. I'm going to let it go for the rest of the turn as is, and see if we can actually turn it down or not after that. Otherwise, yeah, we're way behind now on solid core fission systems. We're way behind on terrestrial military science. That's fine. We'll keep the 1 project slot we've got and try and take the others as we
Target's
get more
lost.
science. We failed on the crackdown, but we should have decent odds on the purge still, so we've got a shot at it still. See how the dice fall.
Our associates are now in
We've
charge.
got it. All right.
We'll
So
be ready for new orders.
that's good to know. I'm going to change the priorities, set everything to mission control again. And then Alpine States, I might try to hold on to this one for now. We're 10 over our cap. Is there another nation I'd rather abandon? I guess is the only question. I don't want to abandon Singapore. I don't want to abandon Kazakhstan. Alpine States is probably the one to go for. So we'll hold on to that a little longer. Well, it'll let us go 10 under cap if we abandon it. I'm gonna hold on to it for a little longer just for the science. I might regret that if we get a purge against us here, but we'll see. We lost executive control in Poland. That's fine. They're going to have a while on their cooldown. And it looks like they've been doing mission control there as well. So hopefully they reset their priorities accordingly in a moment. And let's see here. Our crackdown in Poland has expired. So now we're way over cap. And more alliances are ending. Poland has allied with India. Interesting. Poland is also allied with Pakistan. Are Pakistan and India allied? It's kind of an interesting question. Let's see. Israel, they're rivals, but India, they're neutral, I guess. Interesting. Well, that's the thing. So our crackdown in Poland expired, so we actually have this control point back. Now with us being at 225, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to the control point in Poland, and I'm going to go ahead and abandon the control points in the Alpine states, because then that'll get us back down to right about our cap. So we will abandon those, let the cooldown work, and then do we have? Yeah, we do have consolidated control in Germany. We do need to take out the other two control points at some point if we want to unify there. But for now, they're just working on mission control. It's great. We don't need to worry about that too much. They've still got a cap of 14 and they're only at 6. So I think then the most urgent thing is either going for Sweden and trying to take the executive point there, or else potentially the Czech Republic, where they're starting to work on their cooldown. I really don't like Project Exodus's distribution of investment points. It's not the worst, but it is kind of bad relative to just spamming all mission control right now. So I think here we're probably going to do best to I wonder, no, coup would not work, probably. We've got 0% odds of coupping Sweden. It'll be much easier to just run a couple of purge missions there and take it over that way. We get a 90% shot at the Humanity First control point because they're on crackdown.
Terminating the opposition.
And
Ready to go.
We'll get the executive point next turn, hopefully. Anjor. Right now, I don't know exactly what I want to do with him. Maybe running public support in the Czech Republic would be good to prep for that one. So we'll have him do that for now.
I will try to sway the public.
Ready for my mission.
Yoyi, let's see, how did we do on... So we got a little bit of intel on Glenn. How much do we have? We know about his orgs. Does Eric stand any chance of stealing one of them? 8%, and if we pump in all the money, 50%. That is a lot of money, though, to get to just a 50% chance. So I think I'm gonna... Do we have a detain mission? We could try to detain him and then run the hostile takeover, and I think we get a big bonus from that. And we've got decent odds of running the detain mission, actually. So that might be the thing to do. Alternatively, we could try and just investigate him first to get a little more intel. I think that's probably worth it. I do want Urantika, though, to run a crackdown first in the Czech Republic. So I'm going to do that, run one influence into it, get above 80.
Going after their people.
And then Yoyi can actually go and do the investigation on Glenn, because he's got a terrible espionage score, so we have pretty good odds even with only 8 investigation versus Urantika's, I think, 14. So we'll get some more intel on him.
Acknowledged.
And then Eric could try and run a hostile takeover, but again, the odds are terrible. We could get it up to... that's so much money to get a pretty bad chance. I think I'm going to have Eric just try and take a random country, or maybe run public campaign. I'll have him run a public campaign over in Czech Republic. Get some more support there. And yeah, I think
I will tell our
that'll do for the
story.
turn. We'll see how this goes. We should get the public campaigns resolving shortly.
Person of interest surveilled.
All right, we've actually got his loyalty
Wrapping
score
up
now.
here.
So, Glenn Robertson is trying to run a purge. He only has 32% odds, which is surprising because we have a crackdown there. He does only have 2 espionage though, so that's probably why. But his loyalty is 14. We're probably not going to be able to turn him to our cause, but we can still detain him and try and steal a bunch of his orgs.
We're winning their hearts and minds.
All right, and we succeeded at some public support in Czech Republic. Outpost Corps, huzzah! All right, so now we can start founding outposts once we have prospected bodies to actually found outposts on. But we will have those soon. In the meantime, I think, let's see, we probably want to run... I probably want to actually go for alien flora here. None of the others here are super urgent. We do want to research all the labs eventually. I'm gonna sort these by category. In fact, that'll be a little easier to look at. So these are ship components. We don't care. This is a lab. We don't care yet. Lab and warships. We don't care yet. We're not going to be building spaceships for a little while. These are mostly our sort of default ones, plus the social science lab, which we don't care about yet. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just research alien flora for now. We've got space tugs going, which is good. We'll see if we get any other useful projects before those finish, but for now, that should work. How far ahead are we on arrival domestic politics? We're very far ahead, so I'm gonna bring that down to just 1 pip. Get a little more boost to our actual projects down there.
They slipped away from us.
And we got a critical failure on our crackdown in the
Prepping
Czech
for
Republic.
next
That's rough. But it is what it is.
Our cause is unjustified to them.
And we failed our other public campaign roll. So we'll see if the purge goes any better. All right, supply depot. That's going to be useful eventually again, but not right away. That's going to help us refuel ships and things, but not the most urgent thing to build. All right, we have news of returned abductees in the Czech Republic. So this is what we were looking for. We want to investigate that next turn. Looks like the aliens are trying to support the servants, because of course they are. And looks like in Portugal we've lost the executive point. That's okay. We'll take it back sooner or later. But for now, oh, they're running spoils. We want to kick them out. I don't want them running spoils in Portugal, but that'll be fine for the time being. We'll probably just prioritize that next.
Our people have taken control.
All right, and we took a point in Sweden. We're going to set that to mission control. And then I think we're actually probably going to... Do we want to abandon Sweden immediately, or do we want to hold on to it? They've actually got pretty good science, so let's hold on to it for now. We're not too bad over our cap. We're 8 points over. And I don't think we have any other nations that we can easily abandon right now, so... Lost the legislature control point in Finland. That's okay. We were just trying to reset the timer there anyway. Legislature control point in Greece we've lost. That's okay too. The Academy failed a purge mission. That's impressive that they failed that, but that's fine. More geopolitics changing. Org marketplace is updated, and it looks like we have our control points back in Denmark. So that's going to push us way over cap. Denmark isn't huge on science, so I'm going to go ahead and abandon that nation again immediately. It'll be fine to leave it there for now. We've got it working on mission control as we want. It's got a potential for 6 mission control, which is great. Benelux, how are they doing? They're at 6 of 8 now, and they're gonna probably finish another one this turn, or in the next month, so in 2 turns. So then let's see what we can do this turn. So Anjor, I'm gonna have go and investigate the alien activity.
Investigating alien site.
Standing by for order.
Eric, I want
At
to see
your
if I can
service.
turn a counselor.
Standing by.
Glenn is way too loyal. Even if we pumped all of our influence in, we'd have a 10% shot. So that's not worth it. So we're just going to try and put him in detention and steal some orgs from him.
I'm here.
So I'm going to run Detain Counselor on Glenn Robertson.
Eyes on target.
And then
With
Eric and Madeline are both going to try and run hostile takeovers on him, I think. Oh, do I want to run it with Madeline? She's not got great odds. Let's just run it with Eric for now. I don't remember how big the bonus from putting him in detention is. I don't think it's plus 10. I think it's like plus 5. So yeah, Madeline's really not worth running with. Eric will go ahead and run a hostile takeover on him. Pump in maybe 80, because if he gets the bonus, then he should have pretty good odds, and then that'll tank his administration score, because we're going to steal an administration org first,
Targeting enemy orgs.
and that should hopefully
Standing by for
work
orders.
out.
Your orders.
Then Yoyi, we've got a few different places we want to do things. Madeline, I wanted to take the executive in Sweden, so I'm gonna have
I'm
Madeline
here.
do that. She's got 99%
Taking
odds
power.
of taking it, so that's pretty good.
Ready to go.
And then Yoyi, we could investigate a counselor, or we could try and do a crackdown somewhere potentially. I think Czech Republic repeating the crackdown attempt is probably worthwhile. Otherwise, Finland, we could go to Finland, but I'm not worried about that one. I am more worried about Portugal. It is fortified, unfortunately, which is going to make things a little more painful to get in there. Yeah, maybe should have tried to kick the initiative out earlier. We could go for Ireland, try and keep the servants under control, but again, they're using priorities we like. We could try and run a crackdown on the academy somewhere, or on the servants somewhere else, like in Russia. I think our top priority is probably here still in the Czech Republic. We could try and finish unifying Alpine, getting all of Alpine states, but I think Czech Republic is more important. They've got worse spread of priorities there. So I'm going to pump in a couple of influence, see if we can get it up to, do I want 4 influence? I'm only going to do 2 influence here.
Applying pressure on their people.
And now I'm forgetting if I even checked orgs at all. I did not. There's a lot of things here that we could look at. Oh, Atlantic Products is really important. We're going to go back to Eric and have him equip that, buy that and equip it, because that plus 3 administration is going to be huge for boosting up his hostile takeover odds. So we'll do that. Altair semiconductor gets some more espionage, so we could try and put that onto Madeline. What else do we have? Sapphire Products gives us a little boost to economy as well as some income. And Solidago Research Associates gives us science and energy research bonus. We don't have anyone in Indonesia. We don't have anyone in Sydney. We don't have anyone in Canada. So none of these are all that appealing up here. But I think getting Madeline another point of espionage seems good. It does also give her the Steel Project, which she already has, but that's fine. We could instead try and equip it to Urantica. Get her espionage score a little higher, so that when she's doing purges, she has a better chance. She also doesn't have the Steel Project mission, which could be nice to spread that out a little more. I do want to buy it. I think I want to just focus on getting Madeline's score higher instead. So we're gonna do that. And then Sapphire Projects and the Research Associates. We don't really have anyone who's a science expert except maybe Anjor. We could just give that to him for now. He's probably our best candidate for it. And then Sapphire Products, we'll want to put on probably someone with a high administration score. So I'm going to purchase this one for Anjor, and then we'll get Sapphire Products for probably Eric. Although I do want to leave room for him to steal things and keep them equipped. So maybe we put that onto Urantica instead. So we'll do that, get the boost to economy, which we don't really need yet, but the 15 a month will pay back in a few months, and the economy boost will be really, really useful later on once we start unifying our countries. Otherwise, tech is under control. We're leading rival domestic politics. We're probably not going to fall behind as long as we keep pumping some into it. And otherwise, I think we're good to go for the turn. So let's give that a try.
We've got the package.
All right, we've detained Glenn Robertson,
Cleaning things up.
which is great. And that means
Perfect
that
permission.
Eric's chance of stealing an org is now 94%, which is huge. We'll steal a plus administration org, and we'll be able to raid the rest of his supply after that. He's probably going to go to ground
They will
momentarily.
now serve us.
All right, so what do we want? Oh goodness, Energy Independence Initiative is nice. But we want to take something that gives him administration. So Laguna Foundation gives him +4 administration, so that's probably our pick. We could also take Hyperion Investments, but that's less appealing. It's only +3 administration. He does have a lot of nice orgs, so we definitely want to take some of them. So I'm going to take Laguna Foundation for now. Just try and go out the gate as strong as we can. And that'll get Eric's administration score up to 25 in a moment, so he's going to be really good at hostile takeovers from there. So, yeah, this is going to be great. Yeah.
Crackdown complete.
All right, we got a crackdown in the
Cleaning
Czech
things
Republic.
up.
So we can hopefully seize that in a turn or two here.
We have found something.
All right, alien activity we found. So
Commissioner, we are finding humans working on behalf of the aliens in some capacity. We must investigate further.
all right. So looks like oh goodness, we got into a fight with probably Humanity First or the Resistance. Now we're getting accused of being collaborators, and anti-alien sentiment is rising, which is we are basically collaborators. So, public opinion towards aliens is turning rapidly hostile. That is fair.
We've removed some threats.
98% roll on a 99% success. At least we got it. All right, so we'll take Sweden. I'm going to then immediately abandon Sweden. I think. Let's see if there's anywhere else we want to abandon instead. But Right now, we are a little bit more over our cap than I want to be. Yeah, Sweden's going to be the pick. So we will abandon that, let them work on mission control for a while, and get ourselves back under cap. Executive control point in Greece has been lost. That's a little unfortunate, but it looks like they're investing in mission control, so that's not the worst. And we've got time before the cooldown expires to make sure they stay in the EU. Various alliances are changing. We could launch a station command module to low Earth orbit. We don't want to yet. So now let's take a look at the board. I think Portugal is still. Oh, they stopped running spoils. Thank goodness. All right, Portugal is less of a priority all of a sudden. I'm gonna go back to trying to hit the Czech Republic. Although I do want to finish taking advantage of the crackdown on Glenn. So his crackdown will expire here momentarily before we actually get to run our mission. But I think we can put him into detention again if we want here, because he is detained already. And then we will hammer him with the with stealing some assets. So I'm gonna go ahead and run that detention mission with Udantika.
Where do you need me?
Madeline, I'm gonna have you try a hostile takeover on him. She doesn't have as good of odds, but we can at least get it up to a decent shot, and then I believe with the detention, that'll boost it again.
Targeting enemy AUGs.
Eric
Standing by
is
for
also
orders.
going to do a hostile
Where do you
takeover,
need
and he's got great odds just to start with, so that's good.
Targeting
We'll have him
their
do that.
assets.
Ready for orders.
Anjor, I'm gonna have
Where
him
do
and
you need me?
Yoyi work together here. I think we can't crack down executive here. So we wanna run a purge soon, but I am more interested in stealing orgs first for the long-term benefits. We could try and start running more public campaigns in Portugal to try and build up to taking down that fortified point. I think I'm gonna have
I will try to
Yoyi
see
and
the public.
Anjor do that.
Your
for now.
orders?
And let's see what we get. All right, alien operations, excellent. So I'm going to change away from alien flora to alien operations. We'll finish alien flora eventually, but alien operations is going to be a lot bigger. Or a lot more important.
Target in a secure location.
All right, so once again, we've got Glenn captured.
Prepping for
And
mission.
maybe we don't actually get a bonus for
Laying
that,
the
and I'm
groundwork.
just forgetting how this works. But
Asset acquired.
all right, so Eric is gonna steal. I'm gonna steal Hyperion Investments right away, because then that way we can drastically increase Madeline's odds of success by reducing Glenn's administration score by another 3. And then I want to actually unequip Hyperion Investments because we don't really need it on Eric. And then it goes to our unassigned org pool where we can reassign it for a decent amount of cash to someone else. I am going to put it on Madeline because I want to get her the extra administration as well as giving her. Well, yeah, just I want her to have the extra administration. So we will transfer it to her. And we'll see if she succeeds. She failed. That's unfortunate. Well, that's fine. We'll probably have her go back to just running purges in a moment. Outpost mining complex we can now undertake. That's good. I am going to wait until Space Tugs is finished for that, I think. Just because we still have a little bit of time before we really need to start launching mining complexes.
We are winning their hearts and minds.
Alright, we got 3% support in
Cleaning
Portugal.
things up.
That's not very much, but that's okay.
We're winning their
And
hearts
6%,
and minds.
so that's a little better. Molybdenum pipe radiator is a spaceship component. We don't need to worry about that right now. The Baltic states, I was not paying any attention to. Oh no. Well, they left the European Union. They're being spoiled into oblivion. We'll, that's not great, but that's fine. We'll come back for them later. Alright, various alliances are changing. Org Marketplace is updated. And we should now on Madeline have some more capacity. Yep, with Hyperion investments, so that's good. What do we have now? Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. That's not too interesting. It's got a bunch of science, but it's going to cost a bunch of money, and money is plentiful, so we could potentially take that and equip it to someone, but I don't know that we want it right away. MI5 we can't take. The CIA we could take, but costs a ton of money and is probably prohibitively expensive to actually keep. Can we even equip it to anyone? No. Why not? It gives plus administration. I would think we could. Anyone who's government? Oh, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. We don't have enough influence to buy it. It costs 300. Passus is in Jakarta. We still can't do that. This one's in Australia. Still can't do that. Warsaw region. We could do that, but or can we do that anymore? We might have lost the Warsaw region. Yeah, we did. We lost Poland. We'll take that back shortly. All right, so I want to keep on trying to raid orgs if I can from Glenn. We've got much better odds now with Madeline, but still not great. Can pump in some money to help with that.
Targeting their assets.
Eric
Standing
can
by.
take an org almost certainly.
Targeting enemy orgs.
Ready
Antica,
for my
I'm
mission.
gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let Glenn leave detention, I think, and we'll just keep hitting him with the hostile takeovers. But Urantika, I'm gonna have go and run a purge mission probably on this Czech Republic point. We could also go for the executive in Poland, but I kind of want to run a crackdown there first. So I'm gonna take the Czech Republic now, while we've got a good shot at it.
We are taking power.
And then
I'm here.
Anjor, we'll run a public campaign. I think I'm gonna keep on trying to pump into Portugal. They switched back to spoils. They just keep changing. Why are they changing so much? It's obnoxious. We could do Poland as well, which has worse odds, but we do want to potentially consolidate all of Poland at some point and stop the servants from consolidating and leaving the EU. Yeah, I think funding and spaceflight program and mission control. That's not the end of the world to have that in Poland. So we'll go for Portugal because they
Making
are
our
still running
gains.
spoils.
Ready for orders.
And then Yoyi, I think, is going to run a crackdown, probably in Poland, actually, just to prep the executive for stealing.
Targeting
next
their
turn.
key people.
And we'll go from there. Techs are coming along nicely. We should finish out on top in Arrival Domestic Politics. We've got another couple projects finishing up, one in February. Alien Operations will be a little bit slower. Space Dock, again, going to be very useful eventually, not so useful yet. Typhoon in the Philippines.
Org acquired.
Oh, someone launched a probe towards a random asteroid. That's interesting. All right, now we can steal another org. I kind of want to go for the Energy Independence Initiative. I like the Persuasion boost. I like the Science boost. I like the Engineering project. Romulus Strategy Group is also kind of interesting, but I don't think it's nearly as good. The Liberty Fund isn't very interesting. Mogul Intelligence Broker is actually pretty interesting, but we'd want it on someone else, most likely. Atlanta Semiconductor, not so interesting. Carthage Brands, somewhat interesting, but Energy Independence is going to be the best here, I think. So we'll close that out. Let's see if Madeline succeeds. Nope, she failed again. That's fine. Odds are that we're going to lose track of this agent soon. He's probably going to go to ground just because he's clearly been identified and is getting hit with all of these hostile takeovers.
Nothing up here.
Public opinion in Portugal is getting pretty high. That's good.
We've neutralized their key people.
We got a crackdown on the servants in Poland, so we'll be able to take that executive point back here shortly. And how's the purge mission gonna go?
We've removed some threats.
All right, we've got the Czech Republic. I'm gonna switch it all to mission control, and then we're gonna just hold on to that for now because we're under our cap. Finish out the turn, and oh, purge mission targeting Sweden failed. It got very dark all of a sudden for some reason. Hey, we can get the CIA now if we want. A bunch of alliances are ending. And now we're way over our cap because it looks like Uzbekistan and Belize just expired. So we'll take a look at those in a little bit. But for now, I think this is where we should stop for the session. And next time, we're very close in Benelux to hitting our full maximum mission control. So I'm going to let it finish up, and then we're going to unify it to the EU. Spain is not as close, but it's getting there. Oh wait, no, Spain is way away. They've got a potential of getting a full 20. So Spain will be a while. France is working at it. They've got 8 out of a possible 14. And we'll keep going from there. We'll see what we can do in some of these other countries. If anywhere else is getting close to capping out on mission control. And otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.